So I am going to meal prep this beef bacon. I get it from Whole Foods. You may hear the laundry. I'm doing laundry at the same time, so I like to multitask, do multiple tasks at the same time. So I had this in the freezer. I thawed it out, and I actually didn't have to thaw it out this much. I could have just had it still lightly frozen, but I was doing other things and it ended up thawing out all the way. So I'm going to try to line it up in one stack. And after I get it in one stack, I'm going to go ahead and cut down the middle. This is really thick bacon. I mean, wide strips. If you get like bacon, turkey bacon, or some other kind of bacon that is not this such wide strips, you wouldn't have to do this. But I'm making bacon bits. So what I like to do is cut it all up and fry it all up at one time, and that way I have it for recipes. And then I actually save this fat and use it in other recipes. So I will show you this part, and then I will show you when I fry it up. I am not a professional, so I'm probably not holding the knife exactly right. I'm sure somebody else has a better knife and will hold it better than me. So, all right, that is it being all cut up. Okay, so now I'm going to add the meat to a pan, and it doesn't matter with this particular cooking the bacon bits. It doesn't matter if you have the heat on already or if you put it in first. But what's kind of nice about putting it in before you turn on the heat is it's not going to be popping at you when you're putting it in. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on high for me. I've got the wrong top. There's the right top. And then I'm going to stir it in a few minutes. Check it. check the lid again. So beef and turkey bacon don't have the parasites that pork bacon has. So you really don't have to cook it as long as you have to cook pork bacon. But I'm going to cook it until it is pretty, most of the fat is cooked down out of this bacon. This is beef bacon. So that's how I like it, but you can cook it to your desired liking. But it doesn't have, you don't have to kill parasites like in pork bacon. So that is one benefit of eating beef or turkey bacon. I'm going to cover it again and go for a few more minutes. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here. Starting to stick a little bit. I think I might want to no, it's still not crispy, so I'm going to still cook it a little further. And I think I'm going to turn down the heat. Well, I got an escapee. Yeah, I'm just scraping the bits from the bottom. It's a non-stick, well, virtually non-stick pan. So I'm kind of scraping some bits from the bottom. I think I'm going to turn down the heat to medium because it's still on high. And see if I can brown it and not have it stick to the bottom like it's been doing. But it is starting to brown up. I'm just going to throw that back in there. And yes, it's starting to brown up. So I'm happy with the progress here. Let's cover it and turn it. I'm going to turn it down to medium right now. Okay, it's starting to get there. Oh, and my laundry stopped. So it's starting to get there. On this pan, the handle doesn't really stay cool, so I need a pot holder or something. Yeah, so it looks like it's doing pretty good. I think I'm going to cover it and just try for a couple of more minutes, and then I think it will be to my satisfaction with crispiness. And then I'll show you what I do from there. All right, we got some popping and crackling going on. You gotta be careful with this because it did just pop on me. So I'm going to take it off of the fire now because it's popping, so it is not safe. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to move it to a different burner to let it cool down a little bit. Or you can move it onto a trivet or something like that to let it cool down so it's not popping on you when you're dealing with it after that. Okay, so I'm going to use a slotted spoon to scoop out the bacon bits. They've calmed down. The heat is low enough that they've calmed down. I'm going to be gentle in this pan so I don't scratch it up. Normally a spoon doesn't really scratch up a non-stick pan, but I'm going to try to be gentle in this pan. And I'm using a slotted spoon because I want the grease, as much grease as possible, to be separated out. And then I'm going to save this grease and use it to cook eggs and anything I want to have a nice bacon type flavor. Veggies like if I want to wilt spinach, or I'm starting to put arugula on my eggs. And a lot of times I like ghee. Like using ghee. So I normally use either this beef bacon grease or I use ghee. So I put it in a meal prep container. And this is like a Rubbermaid container, but you can use any kind of meal prep container. Yeah, so the whole, I don't think it was a pound of bacon. I don't remember what it was now, but yeah, it cooks down to, oh, you see the grease pooling down there? Let me see if I can pour some of that out back in the pan. I don't want to make it fall back in the pan, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Trying to get it to go back in the pan. It's okay if the grease, I'm going to put this in the freezer. So it's okay if the grease freezes in with the bacon. It's just a little tougher to get the bacon bits when they're frozen, if the grease makes it freeze in place. So I'm just gonna, actually it's too warm to put a top on it right now, but you could actually put a top on it and then just don't seal it all the way so it has a little breathing room, and just let it sit and cool a little bit before you put it in the freezer. So it probably should cool just a little bit, but it still should be warm when you put it in the freezer, because one of the food safety rules is that you keep hot foods hot and cold foods cold. Then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the beef bacon grease in a minute. I already have a nice jar that I saved from something else that I used up. And so it's good if it has like some kind of a rubbery type seal in the top, because it seals better. So I try to hold on to those kind of jars to use for something else. So I already have beef bacon grease in here, so I'm just gonna put more of it in here, and I'm just storing this in the fridge, and I just use this whenever I want this this type of fat. So I'm going to show you. This pan is still hot, the handles are still hot. I'm going to take another type of spatula. It's a little bit more like a squeegee, more rubbery. And I'm going to pour this. Hopefully you can see that. I'll pour it. Pouring it into my jar. And I'm going to try to squeegee the I grew up, I grew up with my grandmother. She raised me. She always told me, waste not, want not. So I try to use every little bit, get it out of the pan if I can. But obviously everybody doesn't do things the same, but that's the way I do. Try to get every little bit out of the pan. So here is my beef bacon grease in my reused, repurposed jar. And so I'm just going to put the top on it because the other beef bacon grease in here is cold, so it's going to cool down the warm beef bacon grease. And so I'm just going to put the top on it, and I'm going to put it back in the fridge.